Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dalitso Chama. Shout out to everybody that has subscribed to this channel thus far, and shout out to the new subscribers. Go ahead and subscribe. I see you. Don't be shy. In this video, we're going to be assessing the political parties in Zambia. Being that it's an election year and enough political parties are coming out of nowhere, so we're going to break down, assess them, see the strengths, the weaknesses, recommendations. Without further ado, let's get this video started. A political party is a formally organized group that performs the function of educating the public, that recruits and promotes individuals for public office, and that provides a comprehensive linkage function between the public and governmental decision makers. The evolution of political parties in Zambia can be traced back to the colonial period. The first political parties were the parties that originated from Europeans, which were organized in Zambia by the 1930s. However, the parties were only able to win governmental recognition in the 1950s, with some representing African interests up to 1962. In 1962, the first multiracial elections took place in which Africans gained universal suffrage. The first African political party in the country was the African National Congress, ANC, which was established in 1948 as an offshoot of the Federation of African Societies. Internal differences in the leadership of the ANC regarding policy, specifically the strategy necessary to achieve political independence, led to the formation of Zambia African National Congress, ZANC, in 1958. ZANC was the forerunner of the United National Independence Party, UNIP, which was established in 1959. UNIP led Zambia to independence on October 24, 1964. Fast forward to 2021. Zambia boasts of having more than 40 political parties, which is a good thing. This simply means any organized group can simply register as a political party, hence they meet the requirements. However, having 40 political parties can translate into fragmentation. Let me explain. Fragmentation is one of the most major problems African political parties face. So in the case of Zambia, it can translate to the incumbent party using a divide and rule to weaken or oppress opposition parties, or even use the tactic of co-opting selected or key individuals in the opposition parties to join their party. That way they can strengthen the current incumbent party. So secondly, internal party squabblings such as succession disputes are one of the major problems that are faced in Zambia. For example, in 2001, former Zambian President Frederick Jacob Titus Silva tried to make a bid for a third term. He received backlash for his actions from senior party members and Zambian citizens. As a result, parties like the Forum for Democracy and Development (FDD) and the Heritage Party (HP) were formed in 2001 by former members of the Movement of Multi-Party Democracy (MMD), dissatisfied Frederick Chiluba's efforts to change the constitution to allow him to stand for a third term. Additionally, the Patriotic Front was formed by Michael Chilufya-Sata as a breakaway party of the MMD in 2001, after the President Frederick Chiluba nominated Levi Patrick Mwanawasa as his presidential candidate for the 2001 elections. In the case of fragmentation, having these smaller political parties isn't so bad when it comes to elections and there's a deadlock. In Zambia's case, where it's 50% plus one, first past the post. So be it in a case where a said political party can't get that 50% plus one, they can simply form a coalition with these smaller fragmented political parties, and they can form a coalition government and they can move on. So these small political parties can stand a chance to influence their policies in government. However, the problem with coalition governments, it's normally what the bigger party wants as opposed to what the smaller parties wants. The smaller political parties have to more or less side with the bigger political parties, thus them not really driving or pushing what their manifesto, what their campaign promises were. They have opposing views and they somehow have to meet either halfway or side with the bigger political party, meaning that the smaller party in that coalition would not fulfill some of its campaign promises. So the political parties can boast of having three big strengths. Firstly, political parties have nationwide organization structures. Secondly, they have representation in both parliament and in local councils. Different political parties at least have some representation in different municipalities and also in parliament, which is a W. It's not only the ruling party that has representation. They can also boast, little smaller opposition parties can also boast of having strength. Number three, political parties have got support from different constituencies, but particularly often it's mostly regionalized, so most likely it's in areas that are their strongholds. If you look here, when we analyze the 2006 electoral map, you can see the different areas and the different strongholds where these three major political parties got most of their votes. Same can be said for the 2011 electoral map. And looking at the 2015 electoral map, you can see how much the dynamics changed and how different regions voted opposed to the two previous years that I just showed. So when we look at the electoral maps for all three previous elections, you'd see that how different regions, different areas voted for the major three political parties and how dynamic the voting patterns changed in the 2015 elections. Okay, we've looked at the strengths, so now let's look at the weaknesses. So the major one, they failed to provide alternative policy, being the case that most political parties in Zambia all talk about the same thing, be it healthcare, education, taxation, empowerment, inclusiveness. Most parties say the same things over and over again. Their manifestos are somewhat similar. The other problem is the irregularity of the meetings. So be it public meetings, could be rallies, could be even town hall meetings. So these irregular meetings, there isn't that human touch, you know. There isn't seeing our leaders as individuals. There isn't that humanistic to it. We see them on this up high podium. If we do not have these grassroots interactions with them on a regular basis, we lose touch with them, and even the leaders also lose touch with what's happening in the community. So the other weakness, the general public doesn't really have a big role when it comes to their rallies or their town hall meetings. Their rallies are conducted in a sermon-like fashion. If the leader says one thing, the crowd supposed to just absorb it and take it as the truth. There isn't that humanistic or that individual connection and decent questions and answer session. The question and answer session doesn't really last that long. Another weakness faced by political parties is that there is poor proceedings for promotion of internal democracy. So in the case of party being formed, normally it's the party founder that will be elected as the presidential candidate, or if certain individuals are the heavy funders of the party, most likely those are going to be selected as the party representative. So lastly and not the least, the membership of women and youths in political parties is very limited or not inclusive enough to strengthen the party, being that the youth and women really play a powerful role in the politics of the country, be it being the foot soldiers or be it the ones who turn out the most at the polls. So I would recommend the following things in order to strengthen the political parties in Zambia. So political parties in Zambia need to form a very strong identity that will set themselves apart from different political parties and not look like a carbon copy of another political party. So political parties also need to establish policies that will involve youths and women in the decision-making process within the party apparatuses itself. And also, if political parties work on the communication from the field to the political party and from the political party back to the field, if there is that connection between the party and the voter, the party will surely go a long way. And at least with the aid of social media, it has lightened or at least helped within the COVID pandemic to reach out to the masses. And if political parties can do away with the practice of having an individual being the center of the political party, remove the individualism and make it more of a party dynamic, and not see one person as the whole party or one person carrying the weight of the whole party. That would help political parties in the long run. That can also cut out these different internal party squabbling when it comes to succession. I've been Dalitso Chama, and this has been the video. I hope you found it very informative. Please like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I'll see you in the next video.